Welcome to DPIRD's Aquaculture Management Branch. As many of you will know, the branch is responsible for regulation, licensing, strategic planning and policy development of aquaculture across the state. And they're committed to ensuring industry growth in sustainable, well-managed ways, and are always very helpful for operators. So in the room, you can't see all of their faces. We've got Hayley Perovic, who is manager, as well as the assistant principal management officer, Bryn Warnock, and management officer, Siti Mutaza. So I'll hand it over to you, Hayley and co. Welcome.
Thanks, Rachel, and thanks for having us. We should be pretty quick because we actually thought we had 6 minutes, so we've already made up 2 minutes. So.
Confusing briefs.
So we're here today to talk to you about everyone's favourite topic of regulation. So that is to share the strategic outlook for WA aquaculture in 2026, including key reforms and initiatives underway, to outline how regulatory settings are evolving to support industry development, and to highlight priority issues and opportunities operators should have on their radar heading into 2026. So we have some key priority themes in our branch management plan. So those are regulatory reform of policies and processes, early engagement with applicants and ongoing engagement with stakeholders, ensuring sites are used for the purpose granted, environmental management and robust management systems to support effective compliance, fit for purpose biosecurity protocols and alignment and clarity of strategies to support industry development. So we'll be going through a snapshot of some of the key projects for 2026, noting this does not encompass everything we are doing, and it does not include our business as usual activities such as assessment of applications and management of licenses and leases. So to begin with the FRMA amendments project, we've been working with ACWA to identify amendments to the FRMA in the context of access rights, which is a project across the peak sector bodies. So after agreeing on a short list of possible amendments, further work has been done to address the issues with an approach that looks to combine the aquaculture licence and lease into a single instrument. So this aligns with ACWA's submission of amendments as well as an action of the Aquaculture Development Plan for Western Australia. So the concept has been supported within DPIRD in principle, though we're waiting confirmation on a pathway that we can proceed with. So currently the submissions for the other peak sector bodies are being considered before any decisions are made. So it's important to note that although we are looking at developing these amendments now, legislative changes and implementation is a long-term solution. And so for the next 5 years at least, we will be continuing under the existing licence and lease framework. So we also have some regulations progressing in the meantime through the drafting process. So this is clarity on who needs a licence, transfer of aquaculture leases, and a broodstock collection licence as an alternative to having to get exemptions. So the site activation and effective use strategy is a strategy to assist aquaculture licence holders activate aquaculture sites. It encourages productive use of licensed areas for aquaculture. It supports long-term planning and availability of sites for industry growth. So we'll be working with aquaculture licence holders to understand what they need to utilise their sites. So this is, just about ensuring that licence holders are supported to overcome any challenges in preventing the utilisation of their sites. So what to watch out for in 2026 is further engagement and discussions. A licence condition review. So this is a review of standard licence conditions for private land aquaculture operators. This is to ensure conditions are fit for purpose and consistent. It's an opportunity to remove outdated or duplicate requirements and to improve clarity on reporting, monitoring and operational flexibility. So what to watch out for in 2026 is consultation on proposed condition changes and opportunities for feedback. We've been working on a GIS mapping project, which is a public GIS planning tool to support early aquaculture site identification. It highlights potential regulatory, environmental and stakeholder considerations. It brings key marine spatial data layers into one accessible portal. It supports informed decision making and early risk identification. So it includes features such as being able to draw a polygon and identify layers that polygon intersects with, and then generate coordinate site areas, and it also can produce a PDF report. So what to watch out for is rollout stages and opportunities for feedback, and then industry access to the portal. So our blue economy policy position is development of a state position to manage emerging blue economy activities in WA. So this is focus on non-extractive marine activities, for example, commercial restoration, blue carbon biodiversity credit projects. We're looking to establish clear, consistent regulatory pathways to support industry development with a focus on creating an enabling framework for activities involving cultivation and commercial intent. So we understand that the mechanisms are yet to be developed in this space, but we're looking at policy enabling frameworks now so that we're ready to go. So we've already been supporting R&D projects in this space with trial activities that may inform methodology and market development. So what to watch out for in 2026 is finalisation of policy principles and decision-making frameworks. And finally, industry growth plans, which many of you would have been involved in. So this is a joint project with Mike Harrison's team, Aquaculture R&D, and in collaboration with ACWA. So the development of 5 sector plans, so algae, freshwater, finfish, shellfish, and invertebrates. So the growth plans look to identify key sector-specific initiatives that underpin the Aquaculture Development Plan for Western Australia in areas including infrastructure, market and supply chain opportunities. So they also support evidence-based project planning and prioritisation. What to watch out for in 2026 is the publication of the plan. So we're looking to target around an April-May publication of those documents. And that's it for us.
Great, thanks folks. And ACWA will obviously be helping to disseminate those plans. So when they're available, we'll be able to share them with wider industry. Thanks for keeping that shorter, much appreciated. I'm gonna invite people to come off mute and ask questions, and Justin and I can tag in and out. To kick us off though, I was just reflecting, Alison, you'd introduced us to a lot of the partnerships that you'd had and built in the company, which is fantastic. But we've had a lot of feedback from industry and our analysis that they're very time poor. So actually building those partnerships or knowing where to start has been quite challenging. Can you talk to your experience? You know, has it been a good, worthwhile opportunity? Have there been challenges?
Yeah, obviously time is everyone's biggest challenge. And I think a lot of the people that I've worked with, like I said, both nationally and internationally, trying to make it as easy for them as possible if I'm the lead partner, I guess, if that's how you consider it. So I think Justin knows, you know, the other day I sent him some notes on what I thought he could include in like a letter of support to try and get something across the line. So that's one thing I've been trying to do, but very conscious that sometimes establishing the relationship early doesn't mean you have to be actively touching point. I think we've gotten into a bit of a habit where you have to have like monthly or weekly meetings with people, you know, just to see what's going on, whereas I hate admin for the sake of admin personally. So a lot of the time we'll more reach out to each other advantageously. So once the relationship's established, once we have an idea of what each organization does or can do, it's just a very open communication channel as opportunities arise. So that's sort of how I've been approaching it, and I think most of my partners have appreciated that, and also taking things away from the formal email stream and taking it to the informal WhatsApp and text messaging and phone calls and such tends to help a lot of people if they're, you know, driving between locations or on the boat or something like that. Oh, Chris, don't ask me a hard question.
Thanks, Alison. Hi, Chris, welcome.
G'day. Yeah, it's a great presentation, Alison. Well done. I'm curious, so other than the known seaweed species and their extracts and potential products, like what's the unicorn, I guess, to sort of talk to Justin's presentation? Like, is there some sort of, you know, amazing marine bioproduct that we're after? Like, you know, is it a skincare product or something like that? Like, do you have any sort of visibility of what is that, you know, I guess, product that could come from seaweed or other marine products? And if so, let me know and I'll try and grow it.
Oh, I can't tell you then because you're going to steal it. No, no, it kind of depends where we're locating, right? So I think there's a couple of things. There's a lot of research at university level looking into that. So in terms of pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals and cosmetics. So I was surprised, for example, when we did our surveys up north, I found a lot of Padina. So I don't know if anyone knows that sort of like the funnel-based brown kind of species that I hadn't seen much of in Western Australia, or as much of, but it was just everywhere up north. And did a quick look or a quick Google, and there was a few research papers looking at some of the anti-inflammatory like applications of Padina specifically, but of course no one had gone commercial because one, no one was growing it, and two, no one's gone through the regulatory pathways to get that approved. So I think it's a little bit of a mix of one, where are you growing and what are the species that grow there, and two, having an early phase feed or early phase revenue generation stream that can help get you to that 10+ year pharmaceutical pathway, because I think we know that when you're looking at, like I said, extracts for antioxidants or anything like that, to get that across the line and to market is not a 2-year pathway, it's a 8 to 10 year pathway. So yeah, definitely a few exciting ones I could talk to you about, Chris, at some point when you're back up and running, because I hear you haven't had the best little period.
Yeah, I managed to rupture my hamstring, so I'm limping around now. That's great, and I think it talks to a little bit about Justin's slide there, having a seaweed and other marine products bioprospecting facility, somewhere where that research can be undertaken. Pretty important for Western Australia. So thanks for your presentation.
No worries.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Alison. Anyone else want to jump in?
Oh, I can just maybe fill the gap for a moment, Rach. I just wanted to mention two things. Firstly, one is that Rachel is working on the design of the next iteration of aquaculture for the future, which will go for procurement hopefully towards the middle of the year with DPIRD. So we're looking to industry to work out what their needs and wants are moving forward. So keep your eyes peeled on that. We're really keen to make sure there's a service offering that is fit for purpose for the sector. So, and sorry if I just stole some thunder from you in your wrap up, Rach, but happy to hear you to expand on that. And the other is just you might be aware that we've been recruiting a policy and project officer, and we are poised to make an announcement on that fairly soon. So so stay tuned for that on our socials.
Yeah, and sign up to our mailing list. So good time to plug that on your screen. You'll have some QR codes, the first one. We'd really appreciate your feedback on this webinar. And also you can sign up to the ACWA mailing list to find out about future webinars there. We've had really good feedback from industry as creating opportunities for industry to connect and learn from each other. So ideas or suggestions or potentially offers to share what you're doing would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, on the back of what Justin just said, kind of made me reflect onto Ange's presentation, considering actually what do we want aquaculture in WA to look like, and having more of a consolidated view coming from us as well. Quick question for the DPIRD team that I had was, with the GIS mapping tool, it sounds great. Do you think there's going to be some onboarding or tutorials for folks to learn how to use it, or workshops down the pipeline?
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. I think the short answer is yes. So we've already developed a user guide. The next step for us is to do some stress testing of that user guide and the prototype that we have at the moment. So we'll be starting that process in the next couple of weeks. Following that, we'll do some, targeted industry engagement to understand, what the needs are in terms of training and kind of access requirements, and we'll take it from there. But yeah, we certainly do want to make sure that there's kind of sufficient support that is actually used, to the best that it can be by as many people as possible.
I think also in developing it, we were mindful of making it really easy to use, because some GIS mapping systems I open and there's things everywhere and I don't know what to click on. So it is quite user friendly. But yes, as Bryn said, there'll be user guides and support as needed with that.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks, folks. And again, just to commend you all for being there to be a very visible team. I think we were commenting earlier how small the team is, but I'm really grateful for you making time and to show your faces to folks in industry so they know who to call or who is on the back of an email. So thanks again, DPIRD. Any other questions from this crew?
Only just to say a huge thanks for everyone for coming. That's excellent, and to the presenters as well.
I have a
Well,
question for Justin, if I can get on.
Yeah, jump in.
Just wondering about the Midwest kingfish with Huon and Twiggy Forest, which is whether there's been any progress towards that eventuating.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything of late. The last interaction I had with Huon, which was probably nearly a year ago now, was that they weren't ready to develop, a field trial. They were interested in doing a pilot trial in the Midwest, but they had other priorities at that stage, and we haven't seen anyone else sort of putting their hands up. That said, I know that Angela is looking at doing some trials on kingfish, which I think will be really interesting. So Angie, you might want to chat about that in terms of the Bass Strait project.
Absolutely. So we have 2 species of interest in our research trial. One of those is kingfish. We're going through an approval process at the moment to bring kingfish from WA. It will be 400 esky kind of poly boxes and 25 pallets, so a couple of plane rides. We're looking to do a documentary on this as well, so we'll keep a lot of information. I think it's a really neat option to talk about what's going on. This will be the first time kingfish are in Tasmanian waters in that context, because our Commonwealth waters are designated Tasmania, so we've got to go through import risk assessment. I took out Petuna, Tassal and Huon to the trial site on the weekend. We had a really frank conversation at that point with their CEO and others in the context of not just the Commonwealth Waters trial. This is a research trial with national learnings, but also in the context of getting them a little bit more comfortable with kingfish in WA as well. And we're establishing a working group that would involve kingfish management and research across WA, South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales and Tasmania. Our kingfish will be coming across at 2 grams. They will then be grown at the IMAS labs on land for a period of time, then transported out to the trial site, which is 12 k's from land out into Bass Strait. So there's a big program of work. I'm calling it #Year of Kingfish. We will be working really closely with all of you off the back of it, because I see benefit for other jurisdictions. It's not just about the research trial.
Great, thanks. And lots of context. That was actually my question, was applicability and transfer over to WA, but I think you've mostly answered that one. I don't know if you wanted to make any comments, but happy. Yeah, we're good. I think we're gonna have to wrap it up. We're about time and folks have used their lunch hour. Thank you all a million for staying online and for listening into fantastic presentations. I've learned a lot. I'm sure you have. I encourage you to please again share your feedback so we can keep you in the loop, and please reach out to your presenters or us at ACWA for any questions and further conversations. So thanks again, folks, and chat very soon.
Thanks, Rach.
Thanks, Rach.
Thanks, Rachel.